Hi folks, I'm smoking my Dagna Cob, which is, to be honest, my favourite of the meerschaum pipes I've got. It just smokes so well, and it's just handy to, when I'm out in the wheelchair, to have this in my mouth because I can clench it all the time and sort of go down the street with smoke puffing out behind me in the wheelchair. And in it I've got some McBaron classic. It's quite nice tobacco. It's slightly aromatic. Tim didn't like it, so he passed it on to me. It's one of the advantages of having a son who smokes. But anyway, as you can see, I'm getting settled in. I have my smoking metal plates on the wall. I'm gradually getting more things sorted out. Just get comfy. One of the things I want to do with tobacco is start doing some blends of my own. I want to, when I first started smoking, I just caught the end of the Hobbit blend, and I've got a recipe for that which I want to do. But I want to do some more blending of different tobaccos and see how I get on. So if any of you have got recipes that I can use, please let me know and maybe drop me a link so that I can look them up. The reason I want to do some blending is because so often the tobaccos we smoke are just about there and we don't quite know what we could do to make a difference. Whereas if I get used to different tobaccos and how they go together, then it might mean that I can eventually sort of say, oh yeah, if I put a little of this in here, it'll just make the kind of taste I want, the kind of blend I want. But I'm also beginning to like more aromatic blends, which surprises me. I still, at heart, am a Balkan man, but as I'm never going to get that taste of Balkan Sobrani, which was the original Balkan Sobrani, the two blends that they did. There's nothing like it around today. And it's not just memory, it's that I realised that when Tree brought the Balkan 597, is it, or 579? I always get the words the wrong way around. To the pipe show the other year, and as soon as the smoke hit me, as soon as I sucked in, bang, 50 years gone, and I'm back as a young man smoking the original Balkan Sobranis. That was a day to remember. And we both say that it really has spoiled us in one way for tobaccos today. I suppose it's like the McClellan blends as well. I miss those just, and wish that they'd have kept going. But that's life. Things change. And I'm sure in 60 years' time or 50 years' time, there'll be somebody on on the YouTube pipe channel, sort of saying, oh, if only I could get back to that clan taste, or that, St. Bruno or whatever it is. They don't make it in the same way that they do today. it's something we all have to go through and come to terms with. The other day I got stopped when I was smoking in the wheelchair in the village, and somebody was asking me what I was smoking. And they say, are you smoking Condor? And I said, no, I'm actually smoking an American blend, and sort of Captain Earl's 10 Russians. And he said, oh, what's that like? And I said, well, it's a very dark blend. And I showed him it, and we were talking. And he had no idea that there are all these different kinds of tobacco. He brought up in England before the internet, and the tobaccos we were used to were traditional English tobaccos. And I was saying, it's really nice being a smoker now, because there are so many different things that you can try. Again, hence wanting to do some blending. Sorry, it just keeps going out. I've packed it badly, I'm afraid. You may be wondering what's around my neck. My sort of sunflower. I hadn't taken it off from going out. It's actually an organisation that sort of shows hidden illnesses. So that one says I have Parkinson's, and there's a bit about it on the other side. And it's beginning to become recognised in different parts of the world now. That somebody who wears the sunflower, God, I've forgotten what they call these, lanyard, and it tells them that you've got a hidden illness. So if you know anybody who's got a hidden illness, look up the sunflower and sort of see whether there's something that will help them. I have found it helpful because people do look at it and it gives them an idea of what to expect. I mean, on this one it says, I may have difficulty communicating with you. I may be unsteady on my feet or find it difficult to move. Please be patient. I can hear and understand you. Well, that latter bit's becoming more difficult because my hearing's getting much worse. But that's beside the point. But I think the more often we can show people this kind of thing, so they recognise that there are illnesses that you just can't see, or that you might not be aware that the person's got, and you may be wondering why they're sort of, well, like with me, I might be walking along in front of somebody and suddenly stop. It usually happens when I get to a line on a floor or a doorway, and I don't know what it is about it, whether subconsciously you think, oh, is this a step, or it's something that just clicks off in the brain and your legs stop and they run into the back of you, or sort of think, what the heck's he doing? Get on, get on with the queue. But I hadn't realised until we moved that I've got so much pipe and tobacco related sort of knickknacks and almost rubbish, as I call it. I've got to find places to put it, places to sort it out, so that I can store it where I know where it is and where various things are. At the moment, we're still looking for stuff that when we moved in, people who were helping us to move sort of thought, I'll put that in there. And we're still trying to find out where there is. We have a special cup for making measuring out rice. It's not a measure cup, but it's just the right size for us that we sort of fill it up with rice, and that's enough for the portion for two of us. But where it is, I don't know. And there are things that I'm still trying to find, but I'm sure they'll turn up. I hope. The move's made a big difference to us, especially to me. I feel better than I have done for a long time. And I think that's mainly my mental thing, and also my soul seems to have caught up with me at long last again. I think my brain decided to go for a walk with all the troubles, and although I still get mixed up with names, I still struggle because of my Parkinson's and because of old age. But as far as being happy, at the moment I couldn't be better. We've got a good doctor, a good dentist, a lovely area, beginning to make friends, and people are beginning to recognise me as I chug down the road on my wheelchair and with a pipe in my mouth. And a lot of people now are sort of stopping and talking. And I've got a guy who's got a dog who stops and says, "Do you want to stroke him?" Or her, rather, because he knows that I miss dogs, and that just having that little stroke occasionally is sort of quite nice. That we couldn't really do with a dog now. I don't think we'd cope, but doesn't mean you don't miss them. I read a little thing online today about an old guy was walking down the road with his dog, and he suddenly realised he was dead, and he thought the dog died years ago. And he's still wandering along thinking, where are we going? And in the distance he sees these pearly gates and the gold, and oh, beautiful. And he gets up, and there's a man sort of stood outside, and he sort of says to him, "Have you got any water?" So the bloke says, "Yeah, come in, there's some water inside." And he looks down at the dog and says, "Can I bring him in? He's thirsty." And the guy says, "I'm sorry, this is heaven. We don't have room for dogs and pets in here." So he looks at the dog, turns around, and continues walking down the lane, and eventually comes to this sort of farmyardish place, fairly not run down, but certainly what I would call comfortable. And he sees somebody sat in a chair, a rocking chair, and says, "Have you got a drink of water?" So he's, "Yeah, the pump's just over there." And he said, "What about the dog?" So he said, "Well, there's a bowl by the pump. Make yourself at home," type thing. So they both drink, and they're okay, the dog and him. And he goes to the bloke and he says, "What place is this?" So he says, "This is heaven, lad." So he says, "Well, no, it's that place down the road." He says, "Oh, you mean the one with the big pearly gates and the gold and all the trimmings?" And he said, "Yeah." He said, "Oh, that's hell." So he said, "Well, aren't you a bit annoyed with them taking your name?" So he said, No. He said, "In fact, we're quite good. We're quite pleased about it. It's because they weed out the ones who, we don't want in here." It's like people who would leave their dog, instead of looking after the dog and that kind of thing. It's, we don't want that. His dogs are welcome here. And I thought that was a lovely sort of story. But anyway, I shall move on. I just wanted to come online just to let you know I'm still here, still living, just. And finding all sorts of new things to do. Anyway, God bless you all, and may you be richly blessed. May you know that you're loved, and that you're special, that you're unique, and don't let any bugger tell you different.